All right, so I know these scopes aren't new, but let's talk about Discovery Op scopes. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's your boy, Big Ball Holding Company, bigballholdingcompany.com. Real quick, self plug here. I went back through the website and pretty much adjusted everything to make it more reasonable, I would say. I think, I don't know, I must have forgotten to hit something when I originally built the website, but long story short, it was calculating costs based on profit margin, and everything was extremely expensive. For example, I went back and was looking for a gun for my own self, which was like a Prodigy, and it was like $1,400. And I'm like comparing that to other websites, which were like 12, 1300, 1250, $1,300. I went back in and revamped everything just to make sure that it kind of aligned with what everybody else was doing out there and maybe give you a little bit more of a break. So go take a look at the site. If you're looking for something specific, give me a hit, holler at me, and I will see if I can do something for you. By the way, optics are still on special right now for 18% off. So, go and get one before I take down that code, which I think is actually going to end at the end of this month anyway. But anyway, back to the topic of discussion here. If you guys haven't seen it, this is my Remington 783 308 Chamberton 308 budget build long range rifle. Got into long range about a year, maybe going on a year and a half ago. And you guys know me, I'm the budget guy, so I'm not out here buying all the top end stuff to try to impress you when you come to the range. I am out on the range with guys who have $20,000 and $30,000 long range custom built rifles that have a $7,000 scope with a $3,000 chassis, a $2,000 action, and a $5,000, $6,000. Sky's the limit for these guys, and they just build these most beautiful but elaborate rifles that, to me, don't make sense because we're both shooting at a 600-yard range. And I'm ringing the steel at 600 yards with this budget gun, the same way you guys are ringing the steel with your $20,000 gun. So at that point, the only thing you got me on is the fact that the gun costs more than mine. And, like I said, they say that, buy once, cry once thing is, what a lot of people do. Well, if you're in a competition, maybe that's for you. But for me, to go out to the range on the weekend and try to ring steel at 600, this, did the trick. They also say when you buy or get into long range, you should spend more on the glass than you do on the rifle, right? And yeah, I didn't do that either. I've got several optics down there, or several scopes down there that I've been buying over the years and testing out. I just didn't, I wasn't into long range, so I didn't want to, talk about it because I'm not the expert. There's plenty of guys out there who will give you much better information than I can. But at the end of the day, I'm here to talk about this one because I'm the budget guy, and I know a lot of you guys are looking to do the same thing, especially the younger guys who are now trying to get in the long range. I've seen a lot of guys online that are, normally kind of attracted to shooting, your AR platforms, your AK platforms, the YNs that want to, get out there and get in, do that Call of Duty shooting. You know what I mean? They want to go, with something that looks really tactical, right? They don't know about something that looks like a hunting gun with a big ass scope on it, right? So I've seen a lot of these guys trying to get into long range because, they want to be shooting long range like they see the guys shoot on Call of Duty, or they hear the stories about the snipers on the YouTube videos and they're like, yeah, I want to do that. Most of those guys are shooting, those snipers shooting like, 200-300 yards. Say that to say, if you're like me and you want to get out there and get into it, let's talk about your optic because that's probably going to be the thing you want to invest in first, right? Now, I'm going to start off with a really quick, freebie here. You're going to have to make a choice between MRAD or Mills or MOA, right? Personal choice. All right. I pretty much got MRAD because all of my scopes, I think I got one that's MOA, but all of my scopes are MRAD because now I can do the math in Mills instead of doing an MOA. A Mill rated scope, the adjustments are a little bit faster. So for instance, at 600 yards on an MOA scope, I'm probably dialing in 17 MOA, 16, 17 MOA. On a Mill scope, I'm probably only dialing in 5. So if you're into quick dialing, or holdovers, you're only holding over 5 versus 17. So that makes the Mill scope a little bit faster. But if you're into precision and dialing it in, the MOA scopes are going to be a little bit better because MOA is measured in quarter inches or whatever your clicks are, probably quarter inches, which are smaller increments than the third of an inch that a Mill radian scope would move if you click it from one, as you go through the clicks on the dial there. So just so you know, personal preference, but that's what the difference is. And to me, once you start with one, if you learn it, and you'll be good at it if you put enough practice into it. But back to the Discovery Optic. So Discovery Optic is this Amazon brand that I came across. You can find them on like Amazon. You can find them on AliExpress, Alibaba, stuff like that. But they also have a website, Discovery. I say a Discovery Optic all the time. So, it is actually Discovery Opt, but I'm so used to saying optics. I always say Discovery Optic. So Discovery Opt is this brand that I came across on Amazon when I was doing the research for a budget optic or a budget scope. And, there were a lot of options out there. And when it came down to it, I was looking for magnification, quality, all over price, things that kind of made it the best bang for the buck. And comparing it, at the time, the budget scope on the market was the Arkin. So the Arkin came in at about $400, and it was maybe 25 power magnification. This particular scope here is currently running probably like 250 with a discount code for like 220, and this is a 30 power magnification. Now, if you don't know what that means I can turn this in and magnify whatever I'm looking at by 30 times, and that's if you got a 20. But they also have a model that is a 40 power, which you can get for about $450, and then they also had another one, which is another version of their high definition glass, which they're trying to get $700 for. But I think this will do the trick if you want to. So look into these. But I will say this: when it comes down to quality and fit and finish, at the time I didn't know what I was getting, but when I got it, I was so impressed by the quality, fit, and finish of this scope. It comes with the scope rings. These are a little bit high, but I don't mind them anymore. I'm just going to leave them on there. Tells you what to torque them down to. It's logoed up. It looks good. Everything about it was absolutely amazing. And they have different levels of glass. They've got ED glass, HD glass. They got, what do they call it? High definition, extreme diffusion or something like that. It's a bunch of different qualities of glass, all Japanese glass. And, compared to an Arkin, I was like, man, for the cost, it's like $100 glass. I'm going to go with this one. And I was surprised. And I was, like I said, I've got them on all my rifles now. So if you don't know, if you've never seen him in the video, I call him Rip Steve, but Steve is one of my range buddies who also has the money to buy all the toys. You've seen him in my videos. He comes to the range with $50,000 plus of guns every time he comes down, and he has these on all of his rifles. And I'm like, man, again, they say buy once, cry once, but if Steve's got the money to buy a Night Force or a Schmidt, and he's buying these, they must be good quality. So invested in it. In fact, I bought one of his because he switched up to 40s, and I've never gone back. But what I'll say is, I've been on the range, and this is what I'm getting to. Long story short, guys, I've been on the range, and I just told you, with guys that have $30,000 guns with $6,000 scopes on them, right? Night Forces, Bender and Schmitz. You call it, they got it. And, from $3,000 to $5,000, $6,000, and I will put money to money. I've looked through every last one. This one blows the Arkin out of the water when it comes to clarity. And then when you get up to the Benders and the Night Forces, I look through it and I'm like, what's the difference? Like, I can't tell the difference. Looking through the Benders, they have, ways of ranging and stuff like that, different reticles. But at the end of the day, it comes down to service quality and what you get from the scope itself. And at the end of the day, I couldn't tell the difference. I'll say that. I couldn't tell the difference between this $250 scope and the $6,000, $8,000 scope I was looking through. And that says a lot. So what happened was Steve went out and bought 5 or 6 40Xs, and he got in touch with the people and he was talking to the guy. Apparently this company was started by a guy who was a military vet who wanted to, build a budget scope that fit the bill. And that's what he got. But what we didn't know at the time when we were buying these things was that the glass in these was made by, I think he said it was Nikon or something. Like the company that makes these scopes bought like a Nikon glass factory, and the glass was made like it was a Nikon glass, right? So something we didn't know. We just thought we were getting Chinese or Japanese glass. But I don't know if this is going to translate really well if I can get it to work. But I just want to give you a quick look through this scope because many of you may not know how clear these are, how good they look. I'm going to try my best to get this to focus. Let's see if I can get this to come in. And I'm going to just take a quick look out back. Where's the lens? The lens is up top, so see if I can get it to come in. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to try to get that to focus real quick because right now, it doesn't translate because of the lens and the camera. I'm going to try to get that to focus. My lens is dirty, so let's get that to focus there. But if this thing will focus in, if you can look through this thing and see how clear this scope is. This scope is ridiculously clear. And I'm probably only like looking at like maybe 50 yards or so right now. But it's ridiculously clear. The color rendition, there's no aberration. All those things that really for me don't make sense to spend extra money on, like chromatic aberration, which right now probably ain't the best because I'm looking through this window and, no, I'm looking through the side that doesn't have the screen on it, but on the right side, it has the screen door on it, so it gets a little bit more blurry. But this scope is absolutely beautiful. And the color and what you can see is absolutely amazing. Doesn't get tight on the high end. When you turn it to 30 through the eye box, if you don't know what that means when you turn it to 30, it's harder to look through. Your eye has to be more focused because the further or closer the way you get, it kind of makes a smaller hole there. Yes, it does on the 30. But the reason that a lot of us buy these with 30 and 40x is not because we want to shoot them at 30 and 40x, because then the reticle becomes really big and you can't see the target at far distances. It's because when you back them off, you get the clarity that you would get on the lower end of the scope. You get all that open light to come through. So I just want to say that to say, if you're looking for a scope to put on your next rifle and you don't want to spend a lot of money, you want to kind of like do some research, but you want to get out there and practice, you got to go over to Amazon and grab one of these Discovery Opt scopes. I know there's been plenty of guys who've done videos. The scope guys will tell you they're okay, but they're comparing them as if they're comparing them to a $50,000 scope or something. They're not comparing them to the budget guy who wants to know whether or not he can shoot with it. They're comparing them as if they are, they've seen better or shot better. And I'm going to tell you, I've seen better and shot better, and there is a marginal amount of difference between this and what I've seen. If you can prove me wrong, but I'm going to tell you right now, like I said, this scope is absolutely amazing. So I wanted to say that and get back to what I'm doing. It's been crazy windy out. Plus, life has been lifing, and I haven't been able to get out to range and do as much stuff. Range is still kind of under construction right now, so they pulled the steel down. But just figured I'd get on here and shoot a quick video and get back to you with some more content. So I'll talk to you later. I'll see you at the range.
Gunman, baby.